Hi. So here we are in the second part of Teaching for Teachers. So the first exercise we looked at yesterday, or in series 1, was demi, demi-point, demi-straight. 4 times, and then demi 3/4 point, demi-straight 4 times, and then continuous. No, continuous. Demi 3/4, demi 3/4, demi 3/4, demi 3/4. So, now, as a teacher, what would you look for in this exercise?
Resistance.
Resistance where?
Can you please me for yes? Hard releve. Hard. Resistance. When you will put your heels on the floor again here, this resistance between the floor, how you will put your heels on the floor. Again, please. And push my feet. Push, 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 push. But you should keep also the knee together.
And the heels.
Yeah, and the heels.
And not.
And don't change the level. Yeah, you should keep here really fixed. Knee together, heels together, and resist. Yeah. Yeah. And don't forget, still the rotation. Please forward. Keep the rotation of here. Yeah, you should really keep here together, heels together. That's what we do now.
And it's the same for 3/4 point.
Yeah.
Except, turn sideways once more, sweetie. Except that from the 3/4 point, you are almost on the point shoe. That is very important that one starts working this part of the foot.
And just let's see the difference between the half releve and the 3/4. This is the 3/4
Yes.
and
Half.
half.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is the graduation to going all the way over.
Can you show us directly half,
3/4 all the way,
Keep
yes.
them together.
And go back 3/4
Yes.
to half and resist going down. Right.
To have this.
Rolling down. Yes.
So nice.
So, now let's do it in first position because we did this exercise exactly the same thing in first. And what would you look for in this exercise?
To keep the heels forward. Yes. And now when you will put here, also resistant and put keep forward. Yes. And with this rotate.
But not only the thigh, the calf, demi-plie, when the heels go forward. Now when you put your heels down, you want to feel that the calf also stays forward because we also have turnout from the knee to the foot. So we don't only want to think about turning out here, we also want to, as you stretch up now, you keep the calf still turning out. Yes. Huh?
Yes.
And the 3/4 point?
You make longer.
Yes.
Yes.
And now put your heels down and turn out the calves, turn out the thighs, and stretch up the inside of the leg. Yes. Good. So, when we're doing the continuous one, just do the plie 3/4, plie 3/4, plie 3/4, plie 3/4, and plie
Resist.
3/4, and resist, and over, and resist, and over. And you're working the thigh turned out, and the calf turned out. Yes. Yes, and stretch up. So the amount of times that you do the constant 3/4 really is determined by the age and strength of the student.
Okay.
For a 12-year-old, I would say probably 3-4 is enough. So then you would have to make a combination with demi 3/4, demi 3/4, demi 3/4, demi stretch. That would be enough. For someone 16, you could go 4, you could go 6. For advanced, you could go 8.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go more because we talked about it.
Yes, muscles.
You feel it.
Yes.
And yes, we want to develop, but we don't want to overdevelop.
Okay.
Okay? So, in the 6th and in the 1st, You have to look at the student. You'll know your student and you'll be able to see, okay, she still needs to gain strength, so 3 is enough. Or she's quite strong, so I can do more.
Okay.
All right? Did you have any questions?
No, I feel here is getting more like rotate when I do this
Yes.
and go down. This 3/4
Yes.
and half
Yes?
is more for me to get rotate.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
It's nice to hear that.
Yes, very nice.
Yes. Now it's burning.
Oh, good. We love it when it's burning. All right, so that was our first exercise. Let's go to our second exercise, which was going through the feet. No?
Okay.
So, and this is just simple walking. So you had walk and go through the 3/4 and the 3/4 half, yes. And so we did that 8 times. And then then we did it going up onto point. Now, 3/4 half down.
Yeah.
3/4 half up, yes. So you went through each of those positions we just worked. So, before we do it in plie, just in that alone, what would you correct and what would you look for?
To have all this level,
Yes.
all the level, and also with resist when you put down. Yes, and resist, and don't ignore any level of the half, 3/4 and the point. And be long, stay long here, stay long.
Don't shorten your toes, keep your toes long. Yes. And make sure you're on the whole foot, not on the outside of the foot and not on the inside of the foot.
No.
Especially if you're doing it face to the mirror, you can really see that you're on this part of the foot. We don't want this, we also don't want this, which causes big bunions. Can you do it once from the side? So just do the first one, walking through and through. 3/4, half, down, and half, 3/4, yes. And now do the one going through point. Same thing, 3/4, half, don't miss it.
You went directly to the half.
Yeah, 3/4, half, yes. On the way up, half, 3/4, yes.
Improve also here.
Yes. I mean, people think this is just like a warming up exercise, but if you actually go through each half, 3/4, that is already a lot of work. And then point, and then 3/4, and then half, and then resist. That's very tiring.
Yes.
And now do it in plie. My idea with this, and this exercise, I think, for young students, again, 2, 3 maximum, because it's a long time to hold this. These muscles are your landing muscles from jump, they're your landing from plie, from point, they're important. But with young students, you must be careful not to overwork them. So, we did the same in the plie, going through each part of the foot. So what would you correct here now in the plie, Yara?
I will correct to the level. It should be really stay in plie. The knee should together and forward. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, absolutely. There's still that sensation
And
of
the
on the oar,
rotation.
and especially now that you're in plie, we don't want this. You
Certainly.
really have to go, yes, and down that way.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Do it sideways. And you correct if you see something wrong.
Yeah. The 3/4 it's still a bit missing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then go down. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And now do the one going to point. And
Stay long, 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 long.
Good.
And now
And-
start burning.
This exercise, I only advise doing facing the bar, not
Yes.
with one hand. So also that the student can look, but also so that you have the strength.
Yeah.
And so that when we're doing here, we're not leaning.
Yeah.
Yes? All right, good. Now, I still think that resistance, the power of the foot, put your hand on my foot. That is missing from me. It's a little bit,
3/4.
it's this part of the foot that has to be like someone, bah! It has to be so strong. Sit down for a second. Give me your 3/4. Push my hand. Yes, yes, yes. But you gotta do that there.
Okay.
The floor
Look.
is her hand.
Look, take my foot.
Okay.
That's what you're doing on the floor.
Uh-huh.
Not light. You have to be pushing that hand away. It has to be so. Just put your hand under my foot. It's the same.
Uh-huh.
That. You feel that?
Yes.
That's what I'm missing for you. You're doing it very correct, but you could have so much more resistance. Push my hand. Yes, more, more, more. Yeah, that's it. You feel?
Yes.
You do that, you're going to have so much more power when you jump and when you land.
Okay.
Because then you determine how you come down. Don't come down like this.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Good. All right. So that was our second exercise. And our next exercise was my standard starting with the bar. Demi 3/4, heels down and stretch. Demi all the way over, down and first. Demi 3/4, down. Demi all the way over. Yes?
Yes.
Let's talk about this exercise. This exercise we talked about for beginners,
Yes.
for adult beginners, should be done very, very slow and calm. So that all of these things that we just talked about with 3/4 point and half point, they actually have the time to feel it. If you do it too quick, one passes through. Yes? Good. And then half, 3/4, half, 3/4, half, and stretch. Demi, half, 3/4, all the way over, and 3/4, half, and stretch first. And 1, half, 3/4, and 3/4, half, and stretch. Calves forward, thighs forward, and 1, all the way over, and all right. Maestro.
We talked about the resist, and now you did with lean how really you use your resist. And now when you go over roll, please rolling, you should still feel here long,
Yes.
long, long.
We don't want to sit.
Yes. And now go on my push, 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 push. The knees stay together. And now how you stretch, you should really go up. You feel the direction. It's too important. It's not about just stretching the knee.
It's very important.
To go up.
Not too important. It's
Very important. Yes.
Yes.
And with the first positioning, now we should keep really our rotation.
Yes.
More, more, and deep now, please. Do now, please. Yes. Yes. And
Calves.
now you should feel here more, 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 more. Squeeze me. Yes. Do that. Yeah. Long, stay long. Don't sit. Don't. Yes. And now, don't change the level when you put your heels down. Yes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Yes.
Do you feel it?
Yes.
Good. It's important for me because yesterday you were, and I wanted to hear verbally
Okay.
what that is for you.
Yes.
It's the sensation
The
of
sensation.
opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
All right, we're going to do one more time, but now this is a tempo I would say for more advanced.
Okay.
Students that already have arrived at this concept. 1, 3/4 and resist. And 1 all the way over. Resist. First. And 1, 3/4 and 1. And. All right. What did the difference feel to you?
For me, it's when you do the slow one, you will feel a lot of muscle. You will know how to your muscle how to go that direction. But when you do fast, for me, I just thinking the feet how it work.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why, for me, if the student is not that far yet,
Okay.
it needs to be done slow. Because for exactly what she says, they need to think about the muscles, the turnout, the hips, the body, the length, the feet. There's so many things to think about. It needs to be done slower. And if a dancer is professional, actually sometimes they want to do it slow too. But if it's a warm-up, if you're doing it at the beginning of the class as an exercise to get going, it can be done at a quicker speed.
Yes.
All right? So we will move on to our next exercise, which was 6th position, demi all the way over, up, and roll down. Again, demi all the way over, up, roll down first, and then demi all the way over, up, roll down, twice in first, and then back to 6th, up, all the way over, through the feet, yes, twice in 6th, and back to first, and twice in first. Yes? So, what do we look for in this exercise, Yada? So just do the first one, demi, all the way over.
Stay. And now keep here long, and on this. And when you go down, go, without sitting here together. Stay and down. You see, I hold you from here. Just do not just drop it down. Really to also to use this resistance here also.
We have the feeling of having a wedgie. When our bad brother lifts up our underpants and
Like from here.
yes, feet go down, popo goes up.
Maybe we can make it like this, just
Yes.
to explain how we will do it. And go down and we, like this now. Yes. And go down 3/4, half.
Yes, and popo
And
stays high.
four.
Yes,
Yeah, did you feel it? Sorry, but
Yes.
just to explain this.
yes.
Yeah.
The butt never goes down. It always goes in opposition.
And in the first position is the same, but with more
Thinking about the calves and the thighs, yes.
everything.
Yes.
Show,
It's such a nice rotation.
dem, and.
Yes. And now squeeze it. Yes.
And don't forget your calves, heels, yes.
Just hold this. See a lot of work.
And.
Yes.
Now, important for me is her upper body doesn't move. She's really, really working, but that's why when we first started at the beginning of the semester, several months ago, it was hard for them. But now they don't even think about it.
Yes.
All of this, no matter how hard she's focused, because I'm watching her upper body, no matter how hard she's focused on the legs, this stays calm because they forget about this. It just becomes like a habit. And then their whole attention is here, and they don't use the bar. They're just there, but it's not using the bar to do the step. And this is also very important, because we want them to come into the center and feel free here, but still do all this work.
Yes.
So our next and last exercise of the last episode was plie, relevé, plie straight. 3 times tendu to second, and then 3 times tendu to fifth. This exercise, again, I was saying slow for beginners,
Okay.
and can be done slightly quicker for more advanced.
Okay.
For more advanced, for instance, if you have a short period of time for class, you can do it in first, in second, fifth front, and fifth back.
Mm-hmm.
With younger people, I would do first, second, and fifth, and then first, second, and fifth. And you can even have a pause in between to give some corrections, but I would do it complete on both sides. If you want to, again, for younger people, you could also do first, second, fifth front,
Mm-hmm.
first, second, fifth front, and then again, first, second, fifth back, first, second, fifth back. So plie, relevé, plie, you can never do enough of
Yeah.
plie, relevé.
Correct.
It's so important for the alignment, for the ankle, for the soft quality of the knees, for strength. It serves so many purposes. You can then determine how many times you actually do it.
Yes.
All right? So let's look at this. So demi-plie, relevé, demi-plie, and straight.
Mm.
Now, in talking about your exam,
Yeah.
which you had yesterday, can you just relevé? What I noticed is that you exaggerate. Demi-plie, bend your knees, I'm still on point. This is not good.
Yes.
Because bending, especially in the theme of plie, is about bending the knee.
Okay.
We don't bend the knee. We release or soften it
Yes.
so that this happens at the same time as that.
Okay.
Because bending on point becomes an affectation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially for young people, it's very bad.
Yes.
Ballerinas can do it because they're working on, I do it too when I was dancing. But it really is not something to teach. It's
Mhm.
something that people do
Yes.
because maybe they feel that they work something better, but I wouldn't teach that
Okay.
because it's a misconception. Because plie, relevé, plie, knee, foot, and relevé, and same. Plie, same. Foot and knee, same time.
Yeah.
Because plie, relevé is an over circle, and this is a reverse circle.
Reverse circle.
So the feet and knees have to arrive at the same time.
Yes.
And it's nice when there is no stop,
Mm.
that it's just plie, relevé, and yes, exactly. That there's no sharp edges,
Yes.
like an elbow, it's just round. Same in second, same in fifth. In fifth, it's important to heel to toe, yes. Foot can be slightly open, that's okay, but heel to toe. We don't change the foot. Plie, you go to your foot. Relevé, yes. And now, circle, yes. Now what would you correct with?
Can we do throwing? The first position, please. Yes. You will go up. Step, please. Be careful for your heels. Should be forward. And about how we go up,
Mhm.
and about to keep our sensation of the rotation here. And
I
the
would
heels.
also add to that for you. Can you just go up again? Actually, can you go up sideways?
Side.
Go up. Now for me, I would start by when you release your knees, pushing your heels more. Yes, exactly. Yes. Because unless someone is turned out backwards, everyone releves the heels go slightly. This is normal. It has to do with the hip structure.
Mm.
There are very few people that can do this, and their feet don't move slightly.
Mm.
But if we re-bring back the heels. To start with, we get the turnout when we stretch. What we don't want to do is come down like that. Yes? So you want to feel heel and then the knees. Now, heels forward. Yes! You see the difference it makes in the line of your feet?
Yes. And it's also, for me, also important when they stretch, do not stretch in
Yes.
this way.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes it's happened.
But it's this, if you stretch with this won't go out. Plie. And heels. Yes, yes, yes. Now thighs, calves. Don't forget your calves. Huh? You really feel it now?
Yes.
You feel like, wow.
Like this.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to say in this?
No, for this exercise, no, I just added the things.
Mm-hmm.
Push our core.
All right.